It's the halfway point of the 2017 regular season, and the Nichols Colonels are 4-2 on the year. They're 3-1 in the Southland Conference following a 14-10 win at home against Northwestern State. This is the Tim Rebowe Show presented by Smoothie King. My name is Bryant Johnson. And Coach Rebowe, if you like backyard, bare-knuckled, ferocious football, there was no place better to be than Thibodaux, Louisiana on Saturday.
Yeah, it was a special place on Saturday. You know, the hurricane affected some things. We had to move the game up to 11 o'clock. I thought our staff, the whole athletic department, did a great job to put the event on. Even though the atmosphere was a little bit different, especially when you came out, it was raining that morning, then it cleared up. Nobody was ever in any danger, Brian, from the storm. But, when we got the message there was going to be no media and no media timeouts, the game was going to roll by. And, it was done in under 3 hours. And it was just straight ball all day.
I've never seen you happier. A 2-hour and 29-minute game, a 14-10 win. You hold Northwestern State to 70 yards of total offense in the second half, actually 63 yards of total offense. This was a game defined by defense. We have way too many defensive highlights, so we're going to switch up the format a little bit in segment number one. Forget the first half, second half approach. Let's just roll with the defense and Christian Butte all day disrupting the passing of J.D. Almond.
Probably had one of his best games. He had 4 pass breakups, big interception at the end of the game. There you see him going high, knocking down big third down play to get us off the field. You see how athletic he is.
That's
how,
a Dikembe
how high he
Mutombo.
can get off the ground, exactly. A run game. The big guys up front had some big third down and short yardage stops. I thought they were moving the ball a little bit early on, but when you go back and look at us, our guys were really attacking them all night long.
Darrell Adams and Christian Butte, your two key cornerbacks, they contribute for 6 pass breakups. Darrell Adams had a really clutch one to conclude the game, but this run defense, Corey Abraham, he had 9 tackles, fired up all afternoon.
Yeah, we put pressure on him up front. I mean, it's not always about getting just a sack. These guys had him running out of the pocket, throwing balls away. I mean, it was really impressive. Sometimes it's not all about just getting those numbers. But you see Alan Pittman running sideline to sideline. J.D. Almond was a good quarterback, and I mean, he ran their offense well. But I thought our guys shut down their running game too.
Multi-dimensional offense, much improved from a year ago. Northwestern State had a conference win coming into this game. They were in an early 7-0 hole, fought back, took a 10-7 lead, but their fourth quarter offense non-existent. What happened defensively that kept this game in control for your team?
Well, I thought early on, defense had their backs to the wall. I mean, it was tough field position. I was telling Coach Rybecki during the game, we need to get that swing where we can get one of those punts to change the field. We came out in the second half, and what happened was we had a couple turnovers, but the defense really shut them down. Then we got that big punt down to the 1-yard line, backed them up, and just changed the game.
Christian Butte finishes up a fantastic fourth quarter with the pick, but Tyler St. Germain deserves a ton of credit for a 49-yard punt that rolls out of bounds at the 1-yard line. Northwestern State has a 3-and-out. You get the ball back, convert a big third down, and then Dontrell Taylor with a go-ahead score. We'll see those highlights in a little bit, but when you look at what happened in those final 2 possessions of the game, that's a team that just wanted it more.
Yeah, well, you look at Tyler. Tyler would tell me that he practices that all day long, where he can knock it out of bounds at the 1-yard line. So, no, he did a good job. He came up big at that time. Our punt coverage team was not as good as has been in the previous games, but he knocked that one out. Defense did their job, held him 3. Thought we had him for a safety there, where he was out of the pocket, and he threw it away. But just to flip that field, and the offense came up big.
The belief never wavered, and to come from behind in the fourth quarter of a game that was moved up 7.5 hours, you're playing at 11 in the morning, really hungry Northwestern State team playing with a lot of desperation. This is a victory you may look back on later in the year as being really symbolic of what this team is all about.
Well, look, anytime it's a rivalry game, you know that it's a trophy game, and our guys were, I know we're going to talk about it a little bit later, but it's an in-state rivalry. You got to throw out all the records. Jay Thomas coming back to Thibodaux, Louisiana. It's always going to be a good battle, but our guys, we talk about it all the time. Let's get the game into the fourth quarter, and let's win it in the fourth quarter. And we made that comment on the sideline. It was a 0-0 game. Let's win the fourth quarter, and we win the game, and our guys did that. So, look, you're not going to always have blowout games and blowout wins. It takes many different ways, but at the end of the day, it's a W.
We'll take a quick recap and rewind of the offensive effort in the final 2 quarters, especially final drive of the game orchestrated by Chase Forcade. We'll continue on with the Tim Rebowe Show presented by Smoothie King.
Van Noy going in the passing game, and it is complete. This is Landrum, and he scores! Oh, mama, what a play for the Colonels!
A little sneak peek of the energy before Northwestern State and Nichols matched up Saturday morning. 45th time in the history of these two programs that the Demons and Colonels have squared up in Natchitoches or Thibodaux every single season since Nichols acquired a football program in 1973. Demons and Colonels have played. This is one of the realest rivalries you see in college football.
Yeah, we're close. You know, we make mention of it. A lot of players on both teams, they know each other. So a lot of them were teammates in high school or they played against each other. There's a little friendly bantering going back and forth between those guys, but and sometimes it get a little heated. But, you know, you see the real rivalries, and after when the game's over, the players go on each other and the camaraderie that they have, it's really something special.
Third quarter, fourth quarter is when this game really took a turn in your favor, but you did have to come back and win from behind. 10-7, Northwestern State is on top. Your offense gets going. Kyron Irvin, Dontrell Taylor, big performers rushing the football. They spark your team in the first half, but it was Chase Forcade closing the deal.
Yeah, you know, Chase had a little bummed up shoulder, and he didn't get to start. Probably the first time in his career, he didn't get a start. We went with Toscani. We moved the ball. The first drive went right down the field and scored. And then we kind of bogged down a little bit, and then defense took over until we got into the second half. Toscani got banged up a little bit, and we decided to go with Chase. He said he was feeling good enough to go, and he gave us a little bit of that amp, a little bit of that energy that we needed.
We'll take a look at the highlights, and it's really defined by the rushing performance of your team early in this game. Toscani Figueroa did not finish on the field, but a couple big runs on a 10-play, 90-yard drive to open the game.
Yes, he did, and he ran the offense to a T, to perfection. Coach Rob did a great job, and the offensive staff putting him in the right position. Now you see Kyron Irvin with a huge run to get us down the field, and that first drive was something special.
Kyron Irvin is number 3 in the Southland Conference in rushing. He had to leave the game after a targeting penalty against Northwestern State, but he gets you in the end zone first. What a luxury to have another sophomore running back in Dontrell Taylor step in. He had not played since the Texas A&M game. Also another guy tugging at your shirt, trying to get in and respond and really activate this offense in the second half.
Yeah, you know, he had been banged up, and he's been out the last couple of weeks, and he was dying to get in the game. He's not in football playing shape. He's not really completely healed up, but he stepped up and he got us some tough yards and some big yards to help us seal the victory at the end of the game.
Fourth quarter, enter Chase Forcade, 3rd and 17, and he finds Dejon Dixon. This play was the difference in the game.
Yeah, Dejon Dixon, the freshman, really turned the defensive back around. It was really something special. There you see a little check down to Dontrell. He put some moves on. We got the horse collar penalty, got it down inside the 5, and he did the rest with his legs.
First touchdown of the season for Dontrell Taylor, and I think one of the more underrated aspects of your team this season, sophomore quarterback, 2 sophomore running backs. There are going to be some growing pains, but these have also been your leaders.
Yeah, we got some special players, and look, my hat's off to the coaching staff. It's good recruiting. You get the good players in there, and they make your job easier.
When you're looking for guys that are going to motivate and be self-motivated. This was an example of Chase Forcade and Dontrell Taylor stepping up on the sidelines saying, we know we're hurt, we know we probably weren't expected to play today, we want to, we're not letting this team lose.
Well, you know, you get to this point of the season, we've been mentioning it, it's, you know, fall camp, you've been there a whole month, and then you get 6-7 weeks into the season, you're going to have the bumps and the bruises and the bangs up, and you just got to try to fight through it. The players, I got to give them all the credit. I mean, they've taken over the game. You know, we work hard all week to put them in those right positions, but they got to go out and execute it, and they did a nice job of doing it.
And you have given a little bit of a history lesson on the importance of winning the real NSU trophy. It is a team filled of freshmen and sophomores now that have never lost in their 2 years of playing Northwestern State. We'll get a little inside look at just how explosive this post-game celebration was. You knew your team was amped up to go and acquire that trophy, and we'll give you a little proof for Daryl Adams and the hunger that he had in chasing down the trophy after the Colonels' 14-10 win against Northwestern State. This is the Tim Rebowe Show presented by Smoothie King.
And that's the end of the game with the final score, Nichols 14, Northwestern 10.
Give it up to the Colonel defensive backs. That's back-to-back seasons. Colonel defensive backs, first one to reach the trophy after the win against Northwestern State. This is a Tim Rebowe show presented by Smoothie King. Coach Rebowe, a moment that they will never forget, and you can see that's some authentic celebration from players that know the importance of winning that trophy.
Sometimes I never see those guys move that fast. Sometimes maybe going to the food line, but to go get that trophy, it's really special. Anytime you have a trophy game and you can put that placard on, that winning score for your years that you played here. I told those guys they're doing it and going to remember that every time they come back, and they'll know that they had it in 2016 and 2017, and they want to keep it again.
Back-to-back wins in conference play. Nichols has now won 10 of their last 16 games in Southland Conference play. This is actually the best stretch in conference since 1974 and 1975 when Bill Clements was coaching the Colonels. To do this over 2+ seasons, now you're heading into the halfway point, final 5 regular season games of the 2017 season. How do you keep this momentum alive?
Well, I think it's the same theme every week. There's still a lot of football left to be played, and you really got to take them 1 week at a time. And our guys realize that we have goals, and we talk about them every week and what we're trying to do, and all of our goals are still intact. But the most important one and the biggest one is coming up with Abilene, because they're a good football team coming here. They're the next one on our schedule. They're coming into our home stadium, and we want Guidry. We want to be undefeated. Right now, the new turf is undefeated, and we want to win every home game. And if we stick to our goals and we do that, and then keep that conference in sight.
Let's play a little get to know you with Abilene Christian. This will be the first time in the history of these two programs that Nichols and Abilene have met. Abilene, tough matchup against McNeese on Saturday. They fall 13-7, but this is a much improved Wildcat program.
Yeah, look, it all starts with that quarterback right there. You see Dallas Sealy. He does a great job. He's got a lot of games under his belt. He runs their offense. He's gritty. He's savvy. He's a winner. He's just a tough competitor. Our guys don't know a lot about Abilene, so we got to find out about them this week. We've been doing our homework and studying up on them. We didn't play them the first 2 years. They had been in the conference years and years ago, and then they got out of it, and they rejoined it in 14, and this is the first year they can play for the conference title. So they opened up a new stadium, as you can see right there, a beautiful new facility. They've been playing off campus all these years, and I'm really, it's a long trip, and I'm really glad we have them at home this week.
690 miles separate Abilene and Thibodaux. Albuquerque is closer to Abilene than it is to Thibodaux. Anthony Field at Wildcat Stadium, a $30 million investment. You saw the amount of energy that existed in Saturday's game against McNeese. They sacked James Tabbery 5 times. New coach, Adam Durrell, comes in after winning 3 national titles in 6 years at Northwest Missouri State at the Division II level. Familiarity is something that we live by in the Southland Conference, but there really is none with Abilene Christian.
No, but he's a winner. He's proven winner. They won three national championships. They run 2 in a row. He's implementing his system, and you see those guys getting better and better in every week. They lost early in the year to Colorado State, into New Mexico, 2 really good Division I football programs, and they've got 2 wins under their belt in the conference. So they're going to come in here ready. They playing good defense, Brian. They have some really good defensive ends. Their defensive backs are really, really good. Remind a lot of ourselves on how we play, where they really sound, don't beat themselves. They don't get exotic. They don't try to blitz you all over the place. They just play good, and they'll come up and hit you. So it's going to be a hard-fought game. 3 o'clock. We need everybody at Guidry Stadium this week. Come out and tailgate, have a good time, and see if we can pull this through.
They fall in their 2 non-conference games, 38-14 against Colorado State, but it was a close game at the half. They were down 14-7 at the half against New Mexico in week 1, 2-2 in the Southland Conference. They win by 21 at home against Houston Baptist. Also had a blowout victory at Incarnate Word. We'll get you set for Abilene Christian and Nichols. It's a matchup that'll be played out 3 p.m. Thibodaux, Louisiana on Cox Sports Net this Saturday. We'll also hear from Christian Butte and Chase Forcade as we wrap up another episode of the Tim Rebowe Show presented by Smoothie King.
Throughout the week, I didn't participate in practice, but I wanted to do anything I could to help this team out and get us a little W in this weather and in this tough game with this rival. Also, shout out to the players encouraging me, to do better and to, just help them out. And I just want to do anything I could to, get this win.
Defense came up big, man. It was mostly the D-line, bro. By them getting pressure, I was able to get my hands on the ball, man. So I got to give it up to the D-line and linebackers, bro. They really did their stuff today.
You can coach your players on the field, but you can't coach them to give answers like that. Welcome back to the Tim Rebowe Show, presented by Smoothie King. Chase Forcade, Christian Butte, the epitome of the consummate pro on and off the field.
I really like listening to those guys when they do the interviews. They're giving their teammates the credit. It's not about them, and that's how you have a winning program. And one of the things we talk about anytime is we got to find a way at the end of the game, find a way to win it. And a guy like Chase didn't practice all week. What a gritty performance to come out there, but he had a lot of help. I mean, he had the offensive line. We talked about the running game, but they did a fantastic job all night in protecting him when he came in. And then Butte talking about the D-line, the linebackers in front of him making the push so he can cover. Don't have to cover him for 8 seconds and do their job.
There are football skills. There are life skills. What are the best life skills that this team possesses?
Well, I tell you what, they care about each other. And one of the things we talk about is you got to put somebody else first. And if you do that, then it's going to come back maybe threefold to you. So we really care about each other. They talk about being a family. And look, everything's not going to always go smooth in your family neither, but these guys really care about each other.
You really stress the importance of off-season camaraderie building, team building when you have the time for it, because let's be real, August 31st to November the 16th, that is in season, and you just don't have time to make sure guys are always loving each other for every precious second. When you look at some of the off-season team building opportunities that this team has had, where do you see that translating in season?
Well, sometimes you can't force it as a coach. I mean, you try to get them to do some things. We do some things together, but you don't go home with them every night. You don't go back to the dorms with them. You don't go back to the apartments. But when these guys really care about each other and like each other, they will do that. And I think it becomes that trust that they get when they get into that locker room.
Colonels will play at 3 p.m. this Saturday against Abilene Christian. It's a game you can watch on Cox Sports. You can also listen to our broadcast on ESPN Radio New Orleans. And since we're at the halfway point of the Tim Rebowe Show this season, quick special shout out to a few of our sponsors that have made this first year such a memorable one for us.
Hey, first sponsor we'd like to thank, Brian, is Barbera Chevrolet, Mr. Bobby Barbera out of Napoleonville.
Also, thanks to Brian Fontenot, Justice of the Peace in Lafourche Parish.
Daig, Email and Daig, Physical Therapy and Hand Center. John Daig, good friend of the program.
Toby LaFont with DL Wealth Management.
Henry LaFont Jr., local attorney at law.
And First American Bank and Trust, a banking tradition since 1910.
Mary's Embroidery, Awards in Sports, Screen Printing. Go see Miss Amanda.
And Tommy Eshday, Mayor of Thibodaux, also making sure that the Tim Rebowe Show is live and local every week, Wednesday and Thursdays on HTV. Check us out Saturday, Abilene Christian and Nichols. Abilene is 2-2 in the Southland Conference. Colonels 3-1. They're undefeated at home. Nichols 3-0 in Thibodaux this season. My name is Bryant Johnson, and this is the Tim Rebowe Show presented by Smoothie King.